Alright guys, today I'm going to show you how I make my strawberry rhubarb crisp. First, we're going to preheat our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. You're going to want a pound of rhubarb. I cut it into 1/2 inch to 1 inch chunks. Make sure it's washed. Now for the strawberries, I'm going to be using the whole frozen strawberries that I've defrosted. So they are nice and squishy in here. It's 1 pound of these. You can use fresh, I just prefer this. And we're going to add in those strawberries and all of that juice that was in there also. Now to this, we're going to add a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. I'm using a monk fruit granulated sugar and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Then we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract and just a little bit of cinnamon, probably 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon, based on your preference. Now we're going to mix this all around together until all the fruit is well coated in the mixture. Then you're going to want like an 8 to 9 inch casserole dish. I'm using my heart dish because I like it aesthetically and I like being risky business. So we just pour it into the casserole dish. You don't have to grease it or anything, but you can spray it if you want to. Now we're going to start working on the crisp part. In a food processor, we're going to add a cup of all-purpose flour. To that, we're going to add 8 tablespoons, a whole stick of vegan butter that we've cut into little chunks. Then we're going to add a 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar. I'm using the stevia brown sugar blend. A 1/2 teaspoon of salt. A little bit of cinnamon. I'm using 1/4 teaspoon to 1/2 teaspoon. You just measure with your heart. And about a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now we're going to pulse this up until it is all well combined. Alright, and this is looking perfect, kind of like a wet sand is what we're looking for. Now we're going to add in our oats, and I'm using sliced almonds. You can use whatever nut you like. We're using a 1/2 cup of sliced almonds and a cup of oats. I'm using the 1 degree sprouted oats in this, and we're just going to pulse it until it's combined. Alright, and this is exactly what we're looking for. This is perfect. We're going to go ahead and carefully remove the blade. Now, you're going to want to use your hands for this because I just find it works the best. The best tool we got. And you're going to want to grab some of this crisp, sorry. There's a difference between a crumble and a crisp. And you're just going to want to take some of this with your hands, some of this crisp, and we're just going to cover this whole dish with this. The crumble is arguably the best part. The crisp is arguably the best part of any crisp, but we're going to make sure it's well evenly distributed. All right, and after you've got that delicious crisp on top, we are going to pop it in the oven, and we're going to bake it for about 40 minutes, and then we'll check on it and see if it needs more time. All right, and our crisp is looking really good. We want that right there, what you see. We want that bubbly gooiness happening on the corners. I'm going to let this cook for another 5 minutes. All right, and there it is, guys. Beautiful. So it took about 45 minutes. You want to let this cool. I know it's tempting. You want to let this cool before you scoop into this because it is piping lava hot in there. So we're going to let it cool, and then I will scoop into it for you. All right. Let's scoop into this bad boy. I'm so excited. It is crispy, crunchy. Oh my. Just look at that. Tell me that doesn't look delightful. And there is our vegan strawberry rhubarb crisp, topped with some vegan vanilla ice cream. This is just so, it just screams summer to me. And I really hope you guys give this one a try. Enjoy!